A few years ago, when my son was already in school and my daughter hadn't started yet, I decided to bring her on a mommy-daughter lunch date. I dressed her in a beautiful dress with a hat and a purse. I told her she looked like a princess. So we went to lunch, and when I asked her what she would like, she said, every now and again, a princess has got to have a burger. I loved it, so we ordered a burger. However, when I bite into that burger, I want to know where my meat comes from. Don't you? Michael Pollan suggests shaking the hand that feeds you. I guess he's right. I mean, if you know your farmer, you know your food. Welcome back to The Key's Ingredients, where we're gonna go ahead and live that princess style, happily ever after ending. My burger, my fries, and I. I usually start each episode with things I will not be using. However, today, I'm using meat, which all looks the same. The secret is, it is not all the same, and the labels are very deceiving. At The Key's Ingredients, our slogan is, we don't believe in healthy food, we believe in healthy ingredients. This slogan actually came from me studying animal protein. It made me think it's what actually goes into the animal that makes the animal what it is. Kind of like you are what you eat. Animals are created by design to eat specific food that they would find naturally in the wild. When we take an animal and manipulate its diet, it leaves them sick and diseased. In turn, we ingest that animal, and it's no surprise to me that we end up sick and diseased. Today I'm going to use grass-fed, pasture-raised beef. Bison is another great alternative. Into the meat, I will add Dijon mustard, eggs, garlic, fresh parsley, and fresh cilantro. Today I'm choosing to use a gluten-free bun. My personal experience is that gluten grains and meat do not digest with ease. So today, I'm using gluten-free. Okay, so I have my grass-fed beef over here, and I'm going to go ahead and spice up my patties, my princess patties. If you are not a beef eater, you could probably spice salmon or beef burgers, black bean burgers, the same way. I'm going to start with my fresh spices. Have, like I said, cilantro and parsley, fresh. Go ahead and chop this as fine or as coarse as you like. It's totally perfect, personal preference. Okay, moving on to the garlic, which has amazing anti-cancer properties. And this is how I take the skin off. I just smack it with a knife and it peels very, very easily. Go ahead and trim the ends off. And then I chop it up, fine or coarse. My personal preference though is almost paste-like when I put it into foods. So I try and chop it fine. And I have a little bit of pink Himalayan salt right there. I'm going to drop the garlic on top of that and cut the garlic into the salt. You can almost hear it crunching. And then if I lay my knife down like this, it almost makes a paste, a garlic paste. Because the salt and garlic are mixed together, you won't get large chunks of garlic into your food. Bring that right over and mix it up with the fresh spices. Okay, have a little bit of water and eggs in here. I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Give that a quick stir. The reason that I put everything in this mixing bowl first and not just on top of the meat is simply because it's so much easier to blend together. So I will add my quarter cup of cilantro, quarter cup of parsley and fresh garlic, right into the mustard and egg mixture. Stir it up before I add it onto my meat. I actually have a measuring cup there because I like to measure the patties simply because they have to be approximately the same size for cooking purposes. I'm going to go ahead and mix the meat really well together. You might want to look away if you don't like getting your hands dirty. I don't mind. And just turn the bowl a little bit and just keep going underneath and pressing this through just to make sure that all the spices and the meat blend well together. I've chosen a half cup portion just because it does shrink a little bit. And I'll put my patties, princess patties, into this. When I form the patty, I do like to put a little divot here in the middle. And when they're formed, this will hold a little bit of the juices. Holds the juices in. I also sprinkle the patties with salt and pepper before putting them on the grill or the griddle. While I'm forming these patties, I did want to talk a little bit about the difference between grass-fed beef and feedlot beef, and there is a very, very big difference. Grass-fed beef is loaded with something called CLA, and CLA stands for conjugated linoleic acid. It's quite a mouthful. However, it's your body's way. It converts food to energy far more efficiently. And if you can believe it, grass-fed beef containing CLA actually slims your waistline. So I know that most of us are avoiding red meat a lot of times due to physicians advising or just because you think it's healthier. It, again, depends on the ingredients that go into that beef. I'll just finish forming these patties. And as I'm looking at them, I'm just feeling like something's missing. I really think I need to make some fries. The secret is to pre-cook these organic potatoes. I wrap them up in parchment paper, just like a present, and I'll bake them at 350 for just about an hour. After they've cooled, I'll cut them into nice thick wedges. Generously drizzle them with olive oil and a sprinkle of Himalayan salt. I'll pop them in a second time to crisp the outside so they have a nice crunch. I'm using my stovetop cast iron skillet, and I'll flip them only once. Notice the fresh herbs used to preserve the natural juices of that healthy meat. At this point, I'm just enjoying the sound of the sizzle. I'm gonna top these burgers with all kinds of great stuff. Pickles and onions, tomatoes and lettuce, cucumbers, all kinds of leafy greens. Just go ahead and be creative. You can put anything you want on that burger. Looks like these are done. Today, my top 3 are CAFOS, antibiotic resistance, and cholesterol. CAFOS stands for Concentrated Animal Farming Operation. These poor cows are crowded on concrete lots. They're tethered to troughs, force-fed grain, which includes GMO corn and soy. Then they're given growth hormones and antibiotics. Chickens and turkeys are piled into dark, confined buildings, their beaks removed so they don't attack one another. These poor birds go from egg to slaughter in just 42 days. It's so unnatural. Beef has over 7 times as much fat as grass-fed beef. CAFO chickens have more than twice as much fat. It stands to reason, if the animal is unhealthy, so is the fat that it bears. This is where understanding what the label means comes in really handy. We purchase our meat through a local farmer, and after all the learning I've done on this subject, I feel really good about shaking the hand that feeds me. Antibiotic resistance. This means the body has built up a resistance to the dose of antibiotic that is prescribed. With the antibiotic being overused and then in our food supply, we're getting a daily dose, whether we need it or not, which totally explains why oftentimes they don't work. The effects of the antibiotics and hormones in animal products do not die off when the animal is slaughtered or when the meat is cooked. The diner gets it all: the meat, the antibiotics, the hormones, the extra unhealthy fat, all for the price of an all-you-can-eat buffet. Cholesterol. It's not as bad as you think. We need it. Our cells cannot form without it. It is used for cellular repair and growth. Here's how it goes. When your body experiences inflammation, which remember happens at a cellular level first, cholesterol is released into the blood and it goes to repair. It's kind of like your cleanup crew. Clean up on aisle 5. Healthy foods like eggs and red meat have been boycotted for decades. Healthy ingredients will equal healthy cholesterol ratios. Here's a tip. If you reduce the inflammation in your body, then you will reduce the rate at which cholesterol is released. So the root of the problem is usually where you're going to find the answers. If you've been following us for a while, you've probably been reading labels and telling all your friends the interesting things you've learned. I'm so thankful. I can't do this alone. Here's another fun fact. Know that all pickle jars, almost all, have yellow dye number 5 in them. Search for a pickle jar that uses turmeric, an anti-inflammatory spice, instead of something artificial. Join us next week when we take a look at dairy. And keep reading those labels. It's how to take your pantry from where it is to better, one step at a time. That, my friends, is La Bella Verita.